अरे अभी भी फोन किया माता जी, अभी हो
हाँ,
गया
he is
शुरू।
not picking up Mataji. हाँ, now it's start.
स्टार्टेड।
So now 10th chapter, you told which verse? 14?
37 माता जी।
So little recap of what we have done. Did you all study or just? So now your description is going on. Narada is describing to Vyasa how his Lord's wonderful form. And then how Bhagavatam is the answer for everything. In this way, the description is there. So let us come to the verse itself. Little previous to that is Lord manifests himself in a transcendental form, being subject of his transcendental name, qualities, past tense, interest, transcendental variegatedness. Although he is unaffected by all such activities, he appears to be so engaged. Now 37 to 40th verse. Prajapatin Manun Devan Rishin Pitru Ganan Pratha Siddhacharana Gandharvan Vidyadhara Surat Guyaka. Let us see one. So Prajapati, Brahma and his sons like Daksha and others. Prajapati. Then Manu, that means all the Vaivasvat Manu, periodical heads like Vaivasvat Manu. Devan, Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Rishin, Bhrugu, Vashishta, Pitrugalan, the inhabitants of Pitruloka, Pruthak, separately Siddha, inhabitants of Siddha planet, Charana, that is the inhabitants of Charana planet, Gandharvan, inhabitants of Gandharva planet, Gandharvan. Then Vidyadhara, inhabitants of Vidyadhara planet, Asura, the atheists, Guyakan, inhabitants of Iksha planet. Lord says, know from me that all living entities are created by the Lord according to their past deeds. So who are all included, those names are being given. Today's class we can dedicate for our father. Pitru Loka has been told. Yes, because the first Loka, which is above even the Devata Loka, is Pitru Loka. Pitruloka, now we were hearing Garuda Purana, that it is said Pitruloka is very topmost Loka. It is also one of the important Lokas, which is even above the Swarga Loka is Pitru. So now here is there, these are all, then who are all included? Kinnaras, Apsara, Kinnara, Apsaro, Nagan, Sarpan, Kim Purushan, Naran, Matru, Raksha, Ishashchanscha, Preta Bhuta Vinayaka. So then Kinnaras are also created by Lord. Kinnara, inhabitants of Kinnara planet, Apsaras, beautiful angels. Then Nagan, inhabitants of Nagaloka. Then Nagan. Then Kim Purusha, a monkey-shaped inhabitants of Kim Purusha planet. Monkey-shaped. Kim Purusha. Then Naran, inhabitants of earth. You see, it is coming down, from up to down. From the Brahmaloka, now it has come to the earthly planet. Okay. Then Matruloka, inhabitants of Matruloka. Then Rakshaha, that means inhabitants of demonic planet, the down planets of Pishachalokas, Preta, inhabitants of Pritaloka, Bhuta, the evil spirits, Vinayaka, the goblins. The next is Kushamanda, beloved the whisper, Kushmanda. Unmada, lunatics, Kushmanda, Unmada, Vetalan, Yatudanan, Grahanapi, Hagan, Mrugan, Pashun, Rikshan, Girin Ripa, Sari Supa. So in this way, Kushmanda, Unmada means lunatics, Vetalan, the jinn, Yatudhanan, particular type of evil spirit, Grahan, the good and evil stars, Api, also Khagan, the birds, Brugan, the forest animals, Pashun, the household animals, Brukshan, the ghosts. Then Girin, the mountains, O king, Sarishpan, the reptiles, Vidha, Chaturvidha, Yenye, Jalasthala, Nabhaukasa, Kushala, Kushala, Mishraha, Karmanam, Gatayas, Twima. So now Dividha. That is, Dividha, the moving, Dvividha, the moving and the standing living entities. Chatuvidha, living entities born from embryos, eggs, perspiration, seeds. Chatuvidha. Ye others, Anni all, Jala water, Sthala land, Nabha Ukshaha. That is birds, Kushala in happiness, Akushalaha, Kushalaha in distress, Mishra in mixed happiness and distress, Karmanam according to their own deeds, Katayaha is the result too, but Imaha all of them. So Lord says, everybody gets the body according to their deeds. That is what is given. So many category of creation has been given. So many lokas. And within the earthly planet also, birds, animals, all these things. Huh? So, Allah Mataji read.
Hare Krishna. Text 37 to 40. Chapter 10. Prajapatin manon devan rishin pitruganan. Hare Krishna.
If this is not proper, Vrindavanila Mataji, you read.
No, Mataji, it is clear voice.
No, it's not reading now. What I can do?
Oh, no, reading Mataji. I thought somebody stopped me.
No one stopped. I told you to read.
Acha, acha. Prajapatin manon devan rishin pitruganan prutak siddhacharana gandharvan vidyardasura guhyakan kinnarapsaro nagan sarpan kim purushan naran matrurakshah pishachamscha pretabhuta vinayakan कुष्माण्डोन्मादवेतालान् यातुदानान् गृहानपि खगान् मृगान् पशून् वृक्षान् गिरीन्द्रपसरीसृपान् द्विविधाश्चतुर्विधा येन्ये जलस्थलनबौकसः कुशला मिश्राः कर्मणां गतयस्त्विमाः. Translation: O King, know from me that all living entities are created by the Supreme Lord according to their past deeds. This includes Brahma and his sons like Daksha, the periodical heads like Vaibhav, the demigods like Indra, Chandra, Varuna, the great sages like Bhrigu, Vyasa, and Vasishta, the inhabitants of Pitraloka and Siddhaloka, the Charanas, Gandharvas, Vidyadharas, Asuras, Yakshas, Kinnaras, and angels, the the serpentines, the monkey-shaped Kim Purushas, the human beings, the inhabitants of Matruloka, the demons, Pishachas, ghosts, spirits, lunatics, and evil spirits, the good and evil stars, the goblins, the animals in the forest, the birds, the household animals, the reptiles, the mountains, the moving and standing living entities, the living entities born from embryos, from eggs and perspiration and from seeds, and all others, whether they be in the water, land, or sky, in happiness, in distress, or in mixed happiness and distress. All of them, according to their past deeds, are created by the Supreme Lord. Purport, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The varieties of living entities are mentioned in this list, and with no exception from the topmost planet down to the lowest planet of the universe, all of them in different species of life are created by the Almighty Father Vishnu. Therefore, no one is independent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita 14.4, the Lord therefore claims all living entities as his offspring in the following verse. Sarvayonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavanti ya tasam brahma mahadyonir aham bija pradapita. The material nature is compared to the mother. Although every living being is seen to come out of the mother's body, it is still a fact that the mother is not the ultimate cause of such a birth. The father is the ultimate cause of birth. Without the father's seed, no mother can give birth to a child. Therefore, the living beings in different varieties of forms and position within the innumerable universes are all born of the seeds of the Almighty Father, the personality of Godhead, and only to the man with poor fund of knowledge, they appear to be born of the material nature. Being under the material energy of the Supreme Lord, all living entities beginning from Brahma down to the insignificant ant are manifested in different bodies according to their past deeds. The material nature is one of the energies of the Lord. Bhagavad Gita 7.4. The material nature is inferior in comparison to the living entities, the superior nature. The superior nature and inferior nature of the Lord combine to manifest all universal affairs. Some of the living entities are relatively happy in better conditions of life, whereas others are in distressed conditions of life. But factually, none of them are actually happy in material conditional life. No one can be happy in prison life, although one may be a first-class prisoner and another a third-class prisoner. The intelligent person should not try to be promoted from third-class prison life to the first-class prison life, but should try to be released from the prison altogether. One may be promoted to the first-class prisoner, but the same first-class prisoner is again degraded to a third-class prisoner in the next term. One should try to be free from prison life and go back home, back to Godhead. That is the real goal of all types of living entities. Hare Krishna.
So in the previous chapter,
Mataji,
we
you're on
saw,
mute.
yeah, previous chapter we saw the knowledge is given by Brahma to Narada. Now, Sukadeva Goswami is giving this knowledge, what he has heard from his father Vyasa, to Parikshit Maharaj about the whole creation. Again, it is repeated, but more elaboration is here. What is the elaborated thing? Who are all created? So in the previous chapters, we have not seen all these names. No more elaborate in the elaborate way. Now, Sattvam, Rajas, Tama iti Tisraha
Sura Nura Narakaha Tatrapyekaiksho Rajan Vidyante Gata Yastridhan Yadaikaikataronyabyam Svabhava Upahanyate. So Sattvam, the mode of goodness, Rajaha, the mode of passion, Tama, the mode of ignorance, the mode of darkness. Iti, thus, Tisraha, the three, Sura, demigods, human beings, Nara, Narakaha, one who is suffering hellish conditions, Tatrapi, even there, Ekai Kashaha, another, Rajan, O king. Vidyante, divide into, Gatayaha, moments, Tridha, three, Yada, at that time, Ekai Kataraha, one in relation with another, Anyabhyam, from the other, Swabhava, habit, Upahanyate, Upahanyate develops. So according to the different modes of material nature, the mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of darkness, there are different living creatures. One on demigods, human beings, hellish living entities. Okay, even if a particular mode of nature being mixed with other two is divided into three, and thus each kind of living creature is influenced by the other modes and acquires its habits also. So now according to the nature, so one may ask why so many creations are there? The answer is this. It is just according to the three modes of material nature. And again, permutation, combination of three modes of material nature. So varieties of living species are there. Species of bodies are there. Okay. Raksha Mataji, read.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Danut Pranam. Shloka 41. Sattvam Rajastama iti Tistram Suranrunaraka Trayapeke Kasho Rajan Vidyante Gataya Tridha Yadeke Kataro Napyam Swabhava Upahanyate. Translation: according to the different modes of material nature, the mode of goodness, the mode of passion, and the mode of darkness, there are different living creatures who are known as demigods, human beings, and hellish living entities. O king, even a particular mode of nature being mixed with the other two is divided into three, and thus each kind of living creature is influenced by the other modes and acquires its habits also. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai ho. The living entities individually are being conducted by a particular mode of nature, but at the same time, there is every chance of their being influenced by the other two. Generally, all conditioned souls in the material engagement are influenced by the mode of passion because every one of them is trying to lord it over the material nature to fulfill his individual desire. But in spite of the individual mode of passion, there is always the chance of being influenced by the other modes of nature by association. If one is in good association, he can develop the mode of goodness. And if in bad association, he may develop the mode of darkness or ignorance. Nothing is stereotype. One can change his habit by good or bad association, and one has to become intelligent enough to discriminate between good and bad. The bad association is the service of the devotee of the Lord. Best association is the service of the devotees of the Lord. And by that association, one can become the highest qualified man by the grace of the Lord's pure devotees. As we have already seen in the life of Srila Narada Muni, he becomes the topmost devotee of the Lord simply by the association of pure devotees of the Lord. By birth, he was the son of the maidservant and had no knowledge of his father and no academic education, even of the lowest status, by associating with the devotees and by eating the remnants of their foodstuff. He gradually developed the transcendental qualities of the devotees. By such association, his taste for chanting and hearing the transcendental glories of the Lord become prominent. And because of the glories of the Lord are non different from the Lord, he got direct association with the Lord by means of sound representation. Similarly, there is the life of Ajamil, 6th canto, who is the son of Brahmana and was educated and trained properly in the discharge of the duties of the Brahmana, but who, in spite of all this, because of he contracted the bad association of prostitute, was put into the path of the lowest quality of Chandala, or the last position of the human being. Therefore, the Bhagavatam always recommends the association of the Mahat or the great soul for opening the gate of salvation. To associate with person engaged in lording it over the material world means to enter into the darkest region of hell. One should try to raise himself by the association of the great soul. That is the way of the perfection of life. Hare Krishna. Mataji. Mataji, you are in mute.
So the result of one's own karma gives particular types of body. Now Lord appears in every millennium in different incarnations. And why he appears? To maintain them. After creating, maintenance is the responsibility of Lord. That is why he appears. Not only maintaining, afterwards destruction also. But Lord, when he appears in his form in different incarnations, that is to maintain. But when he wants to destroy, he will appear in the Rudra form. The next verse speaks about it. The next verse. 42, 42 speak about creation. Creation has been done according to the nature of the different living entities. For maintenance, 42nd verse. And for destruction, 43rd verse. Saivedam Jagadhata Bhagavan Dharmarupadrak Ushnati Sthapayan Vishwam Tiryannara Suradibihi Sahi Eva certainly idam this Jagadhata, the maintainer of the entire universe, Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, Dharma Rupadrak, assuming the form of religious principles, Pushnati maintains, Tapayan, after establishing Vishwam, the universes, Triyak, living entities lower than the human beings, Nara, the human beings, Suradibihi, by the demigod, live incarnations. So Lord as the maintainer of all in the universe appears in different incarnations after establishing the creation, and thus he reclaims all kinds of conditioned souls among the human, non-human beings, non-humans and the living entities. That is how to reclaim, even to reclaim animals also. If you see the first chapter, first canto, second chapter, last verse. What is the last verse? First canto, second chapter, last verse. Open. The Lord appears, tells that I appear in all species to reclaim the conditioned souls. What is the last verse? Devatriya Naradishu, whether it will come. What is the last verse? Open.
Mataji, Canto 2.
Canto 1.
Canto 1, Chapter 2 last.
Last verse. Chapter 2 last verse.
Bhavayatyesha satvena
Bhavata. Ha.
lokan vai loka bhavanaha
Bhavanaha.
Leelavataraanurato Devatiryang Naradisho.
So read the translation, what is given in that.
Thus, the Lord of the universes maintains all planets inhabited by demigods, men, and lower animals. Assuming the roles of incarnations, he performs pastimes to reclaim those in the mode of pure goodness.
He is maintaining everyone, reclaiming one who is in the goodness. But maintenance is done even for the passionate person also. You cannot say you are passionate, you are in tamas. I will not. Maintenance is done for everyone. But reclaiming means bringing that person near. Like father and mother maintains all the children. But one who serves father and mother, they go close to father and mother. Simple. Reclaiming means bringing back. So the one who wants to go back, then only you will bring him. Na? Satoguna is the platform where you can take a leap. Tamas and passion don't want to go to Lord. What to do? But Sato wants to go to Lord. So that becomes your like the place where you can jump. Again, Sato is also not enough. You have to go to higher things. But Sato is the basic requirement. Like airplane can take a they can go higher only when it is when it has a proper land. So that is how Sato Guna is the platform from which a person can be. But Lord maintains everyone. So this verse speaks of Bhavate Satveda Lokan Vai Loka Bhavana Leela Avatarana. So Devatariya Naradishu. Same verse is given here. Maintenance is done for everyone. See how correlating is every verse. That is why it's not that first canto is over. First canto is going on. Okay. Vrindavan Mataji. Read the verse, read the purport.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavat. स एवेदं जगद्धाता भगवान् धर्मरूपधृक् पुष्णाति स्थापयन् विश्वं तिर्यन्नरसुरादिभिः. He, the personality of Godhead, as the maintainer of all in the universe, appears in different incarnations after establishing the creation, and thus he reclaims all kinds of conditioned souls amongst the humans, the non-humans, and the demigods. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu incarnates himself in different societies of living entities to reclaim them from the clutches of illusion. And such activities of the Lord are not limited only to human society. He incarnates himself even as a fish, hog, tree, and many other forms. But less intelligent persons who have no knowledge of him deride him even if he is in human society as a human being. The Lord therefore says in the Bhagavad Gita 9.11, अवजानान्ति मां मूढ़ा मनुष्यं तनुमाश्रितं परं भावम् अजानन्तो मम भूता महेश्वरम्. As we have already discussed in the previous verses, it is concluded that the Lord is never a product of the material creation. His transcendental position is always unchanged. He is the eternal form of knowledge and bliss, and he executes his almighty will by his different energies. As such, he is never the subject of reactions for any of his acts. He is transcendental to all such conceptions of actions and reactions. Even if he is invisible in the material world, the exhibition is only of his internal energy, for he is above the good and bad conceptions of this material world. In the material world, the fish or the hog may be considered lower than the man, but when the Lord appears as a fish or hog, he is neither of them in the material conception. It is his causeless mercy that he appears in every society or species of life, but he is never to be considered one of them. Conceptions of the material world, such as good and bad, lower and upper, important and insignificant, are estimations of the material energy. And the Supreme Lord is transcendental to all such conceptions. The words param bhavam, or transcendental nature, can never be compared to the material conception. We should not forget that the potencies of the Almighty Lord are always the same and do not decrease because the Lord assumes the form of a lower animal. There's no difference between Lord Sri Ram, Lord Sri Krishna, and his incarnations as a fish and hog. He is all pervading and simultaneously localized at any and every place. But the foolish person with the poor fund of knowledge, for want of that param bhavam of the Lord, cannot understand how the Supreme Lord can take the form of a man or a fish. One compares everything to one's own standard of knowledge, as the frog in the well considers the sea to be like the well. The frog in the well cannot even think of the sea, and when such a frog is informed of the greatness of the sea, it takes the conception of the sea as being a little greater than the well. As such, one who is foolish about the transcendental science of the Lord will find it difficult to understand how Lord Vishnu can equally manifest himself in every society of living entities. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Now destruction. Tata kalannirudraatma yatsrishtam idamatmanah sanniyachati tatkali ganani vanilah. Tata Kala-Agni. Thereafter at the end, Kala, destruction, Agni, fire, Urudratma in the form of Rudra, yet whatever system created, Idam all these, Atmanaha of his own, some completely, Niyachati annihilates, Tatkali at the end of millennium, Ghana Anikam, bunches of clouds, Eva like that of Anila, air. So thereafter, at the end of the millennium, the Lord himself, in the form of Rudra, the destroyer, will annihilate the complete creation as the wind displaces the cloud. This is going to happen. So Rudra has been given this responsibility, creation, maintenance, and destruction. In Bhagavad Gita, 8th chapter, 19 to 20, that has been given, how the creation, maintenance, destruction happens. Okay. Read further. Bindu Mata. Read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Text 43. Tata kalagnirudraatma yatsrishtam idamatmanah sanniyachati tatkale gananakikam ivanila. Translation. Thereafter, at the end of the millennium, the Lord himself in the form of Rudra, the destroyer, will annihilate the complete creation as the wind displaces the clouds. Purport. This creation is very appropriately compared to clouds. Clouds are created or situated in the sky, and when they are displaced, they remain in the same sky without manifestation. Similarly, the whole creation is made by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his form of Brahma. It is maintained by him in the form of Vishnu, and it is destroyed by him in the form of Rudra or Shiva, all in due course. This creation, maintenance, and destruction are nicely explained in the Bhagavad Gita 8.19 to 20 as follows. Bhuta grama sa evayam bhutva bhutva praliyate ratrya vasha patha prabhavatya haragame parastasmatu bhavo nyo avyakto vyaktat sanatanaha यः स सर्वेषु भूतेषु नश्यत्सु न विनश्यति. The nature of the material world is that it is first created very nicely, then it develops very nicely and stays for a great number of years, even beyond the calculation of the greatest mathematician. But after that, it is again destroyed during the night of Brahma, without any resistance, and at the end of the night of Brahma, it is again manifested as a creation to follow the same principles of maintenance and destruction. The foolish conditioned soul who has taken this temporary world as a permanent settlement has to learn intelligently why such creation and destruction take place. The fruitive actors in the material world are very enthusiastic in the creation of big enterprises, big houses, big empires, big industries, and so many big things out of the energy and ingredients supplied by the material agent of the Supreme Lord. With such resources and at the cost of the valuable energy, the conditioned soul satisfies his whim, but unwillingly has to depart from all his creations and enter into another phase of life to create again and again. To give hope to such foolish conditioned souls who waste their energy in this temporary material world, the Lord gives information that there is another nature which is eternally existent without being occasionally created or destroyed, and at that the conditioned soul can understand what he should do and how his valuable energy may be utilized. Instead of wasting his energy in matter, which is sure to be destroyed in due course by the supreme will, the conditioned soul should utilize his energy in the devotional service of the Lord so that he can be transferred to the other eternal nature where there is no birth, no death, no creation, no destruction, but permanent life instead, full of knowledge and unlimited bliss. The temporary creation is thus exhibited and destroyed just to give information to the conditioned soul who is attached to temporary things. It is also meant to give him a chance for self realization and not for self gratification, which is the prime aim of all fruitive actors. Hare Krishna Mataji.
So prime aim of all fruiting actors. What is the prime aim? To give a chance. That is the aim of Lord. To give him a chance for realization. That is why Lord appears. And this world is a chance actually. Lord's compassion, the most compassion activity is to create the world. If Lord would not have created, then how the conditioned soul will get a chance to reap his karmas? Because everybody is in the ayana, sleeping in the Narayana, sleeping in the womb of Lord, in the sleeping state. So this creation is the most compassionate activity of Lord so that we can reap our karmas and slowly uplift ourselves and reclaim our conditioning state. So we'll take last ones. Or we'll take some question answers and do the last verse later. Some questions are there. No questions, then I'll take this last verse. Ittam bhavena katito Bhagavan Bhagavattamah Nitam bhavena hi param Drashtumarhanti surayah. Ittam, all these features, bhavena, creation, destruction. Katitaha, described about the Lord, the personality of Godhead, Bhagavattamah, by the great transcendentalist. Not ittam in this, bhavena features, he only param, most glorious, drashtum, to see, arhati, deserve, surya, great devotees. So great transcendentalists, they describe these activities. But pure devotees deserve to see more glorious things in transcendence beyond these features. So this is just restricted to this material world, creation, maintenance, and destruction. That great transcendentalists can do, but pure devotees can go much higher and see something which is beyond this. That means pure devotees see the activities, what is going on in the Vaikuntha planet, other planets, spiritual planets. That is what is given. So great transcendentalists which describe all these things. It's wonderful. But pure devotees can see something which is higher. So Sukadeva Goswami, by this, what he wants to say, he says, there are many, many transcendentalists who have described these activities. But it's only pure devotion we can raise a person from all these things and see something which is beyond the perception of even the great transcendentalists. Okay. So Bade Prabhu, do you have book with you? No, you must be traveling. Aruna Mataji, you will read.
Hare Krishna, text 44. Ittam bhavena katito Bhagavan Bhagavattamah Netham bhavena hi param Drishtumarhanti surayah. Translation: the great transcendentalists thus describe the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the pure devotees deserve to see more glorious things in transcendence beyond these features. Purport: Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Lord is not only the creator and destroyer of the material manifestations of his different energies, he is more than a simple creator and destroyer. For there is his feature of Ananda or his pleasure feature. This pleasure feature of the Lord is understood by the pure devotees only and not by others. The impersonalist is satisfied simply by understanding the all pervasive influence of the Lord. This is called Brahman realization. The greater than the impersonalist is the mystic who sees the Lord situated in his heart as Paramatma, the partial representation of the Lord. But the pure devotees who take part in the direct pleasure, Ananda, potency of the Lord, by factual reciprocation of loving service. The Lord and his abode called the Vaikuntha planets, which are eternal manifestations, always remains with his associates and enjoys the transcendental loving services by his pure devotees in different transcendental humors. The pure devotees of the Lord thus undergo a practice of the devotional service to the Lord during the manifestation of the creation and take full advantage of the manifestation by qualifying themselves to enter into the kingdom of Lord. Bhagavad Gita 18.55 confirms this. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschashmi tatvatah tato mam tatvato gyatva vishate tat anantaram. By development of pure devotional service, one can fully know the Lord as he is and thus be trained in the bona fide service of the Lord and be allowed to enter into the direct association of the Lord in so many capacities. The highest glorious association with the Lord is made possible in the planet of Goloka Vrindavana, where Lord enjoys himself with his gopis and his favorite animals, the Surabhi cows. The description of this transcendental land of Krishna is given in the Brahma Samhita, which is considered by Lord Sri Chaitanya to be the most authentic literature in this connection. Hare Krishna.
We will stop. So any questions? Small for just one or 2 minutes. So anyhow, we are just repeating what we have learned. Read. It's just a summary which is going on. Bhagavatam is the answer for everything. So here Shri Vishwanath Thakur writes, what pure devotees are seeing? The sweetness of Krishna. The opulence is seen by the great transcendentalist. The sweetness is playing with the devotees, enjoying with the devotees. Because he's all enjoyer now. Actually, Krishna does not do any work. Rastagarim karanam chivyate. All his energy is paras shakti vivideva shurate. So great transcendentalists are seeing the opulence of Lord. But pure devotees, they are seeing the sweetness of Lord. Okay? Okay. Hare Krishna. Panchakarvatarovasya Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavana Vishnu Salanama Vishnu Vishnu Kripa Kicha. Okay, another thing is this Thursday we'll try to complete. Then we'll have 1 week more. We can keep examination 1 or 2 weeks, whatever you all want. And then we can start with 3rd canto of Bhagavatam. Okay. So when you want the exam, you can let me know. Maybe August 15, say you have holiday. The time also you can keep exam. And you have nice 2 weeks to study. So you should go through all the verses and we can start after 20th. Or maybe we can start after Janmashtami. We can start 3rd. Janmashtami everywhere. A lot of work is there. So September we can start. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Thank you. Dandavat Pranam to all.